cars all do the same, whether they're a cup car, an Indy car, a sports car. They all do the same things, and they're all a balance of tires and engines and engineers and drivers and sponsors and people, and it's all the same thing. So it's kind of just a natural extension of the business to be in the NASCAR.
Absolutely. I mean, the goal is just to win, right?
Yes, that's it.
Win on race day, right?
Right.
For today's episode, we decided to go on the road, all the way to Concord, North Carolina, in fact. Here we are at Chip Ganassi Racing, one of the top NASCAR teams. In 2001, Chip Ganassi bought majority stake in an existing NASCAR race team to form the name Chip Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates. Now the NASCAR shop is 190,000 total square feet and employs over 200 personnel, all having a very important role in getting these 700 plus horsepower race cars to the track each and every weekend. The organization is made up of a two-car NASCAR Sprint Cup Series team. Jamie McMurray drives the #1 McDonald's Cessna Chevy, and Kyle Larson, the 2014 Rookie of the Year, pilots the #42 Target Chevy. The shop also houses the NASCAR Xfinity Series team driven by their development driver, Dylan Kwasniewski. So I've heard that you're kind of a guy who's married to your race teams. How hands-on are you at each and every team?
Well, I like to be involved in the racing aspect of the business. I mean, I think a lot of parts of the business are like any other business. The HR, insurance, finance. These are all things that any business has to deal with. But my experience is actually in the racing. We all know what the goal is. The goal is to win races. What I like to do is put the pieces of the puzzle together. And on Sunday at 1 o'clock, we have all the ingredients of that pie, we push it in the oven and we see what happens.
There's thousands of ingredients that it could easily go sour.
No question.
They all have to line up perfectly for you to
Lots of variables in this business.
Yeah, or sometimes just to even finish a race.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Dale, tell me, what kind of parts are made here in the machine shop?
Mainly parts for the chassis, suspension components, and various brackets and stuff to build the actual car itself.
These parts basically start as a block of aluminum or steel. And what exactly hones that down? It's called a CNC machine, right?
Yeah, it's a computer numerical controlled machine, commonly known as a CNC machine. Smaller parts, they average somewhere around 5 minutes a piece. Some of our larger parts can take up to 8 hours.
So tell me, what is actually stock on a stock car as far as the bodies?
Actually, everything now is pretty stock. It's stamped from the manufacturer, everything has a part number, and we have a tight tolerance to adhere to on every one.
Is there any kind of alteration from the body once you get it from NASCAR?
You're always looking for speed, so there's always little bits of this and that you'll do in your advantage to equate speed at the racetrack every weekend.
Nice. So NASCAR has a lot of mandated body templates that they use for technical inspection before you actually hit the racetrack. How many templates are used for the body?
Well, we have one really big one that sits down on the car, and then we have a smaller one that goes over the nose in the front, and then a smaller one that goes over the tail in the rear. And probably all in all, there's probably 100, if not 120, when it's all said and done, from the handhelds to the big grid, to the tail module, to the front module.
Are all the bodies the same, or do they alter slightly?
Well, they're all the same in a sense, but then we alter them in the way we brace them. Like a car that we run at Martinsville, you're going to build that thing as light as you possibly can. And then a car that's going to run like Talladega, you're going to brace it up because you don't want panels deflecting. You want to maintain a shape, hold that shape the entire time when the car's running 200 miles an hour in dirty air in the pack, because once air unattaches from a car and then reattaches, that creates drag, and none of us in the racing world like drag because it just slows your car down.
That's right. Well, there's bump drafting as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, as far as the body panels, are all of them the same thickness of the steel?
I would say that the race sheet metal is probably lighter because we just use it up, whereas a street car's got to last 6, 7, 8 years.
Okay. And is there any carbon fiber on the body?
On our body, no, but we do use carbon fiber to make our seats that the drivers sit in, and we make carbon fiber braces because they're lighter than steel.
Before the cars even get painted or primed, what's done as far as like the sanding and like the Bondo and that?
After we get the cars Bondoed, we bring them out here, put them under the template rack, and the body hangers will come and check all the templates. Then after that process, we put it in primer, sand it back down, and then proceed with paint.
Okay. What's the tolerance on the overall template?
Several different tolerances.
Right.
Yeah, they get pretty close.
Like 1/16 of an inch or so,
Yeah,
usually?
70 thousandths.
NASCAR is pretty tight on that, aren't
Yes.
they? Which is good.
Yeah.
Keeps the cars really competitive, so.
Oh yeah.
As the cars have become more similar on the track, more emphasis has been put on pit crews, and it's really become specialized. And we lift and stretch on Mondays, we practice skills on Tuesdays, and then we have full team practice Wednesday and Thursday, and then all our teams will pit a nationwide car in advance of the Cup race that weekend. So it's fairly extensive.
So tell me, what are the members of the pit crew?
There's 6 guys that go over the wall. So there's 2 tire changers, 2 tire carriers, a jack man, and a gas man.
In your estimation, what's kind of the relative time for tire change and gas?
Well, it keeps dropping. You know, in the 80s, a 14-second stop was considered good. In this day and age in NASCAR, if you're high 11s, low 12s, so low 12-second stop, like a 12-1, 12-2, you're doing well. Anything above that, you're going to start losing spots on pit road.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you ever alternate some of the members in the crew?
We alternate members in the crew, but very rarely is it between the 1 and the 42. What we do is we have another car underneath that. And what those guys are, they're kind of our backups, and they're younger guys that are pushing our older guys and our veterans on the top 2 cars. And we moved a lot of those guys into position this year. But very rarely will you take a guy from Jamie's car and put him on Kyle's.
Just in case on Sunday somebody gets injured, you've got somebody you can fill in.
That's correct. You know, we have 2 layers of that. We have guys that are very capable operators that could step in should one of our top guys go down, and then we have a development group that's kind of the future of Ganassi pit crews, and those guys are working also in series onto other cars.
What's the role of a crew chief here at the shop and once you get to the racetrack?
Well, I mean, obviously you're trying to take all the people that at the shop that are working with the managers and trying to build every car for weeks and weeks out, you know, trying to plan ahead. And so you try to stay on top of that, and also at the same time work with your race engineers to produce what you're going to be your starting setups, work with the aero department to see what direction they're working in, give them ideas, let them bounce ideas off of you, and try to get it all done so you can have the fastest race car when you get to the racetrack.
So you've got a driving background yourself, right?
Correct.
So how do you think that'll help you in your new role as crew chief?
Well, I mean, I think it gives you a chance to potentially talk to the driver in something you've experienced as well, as far as a feel, and not just necessarily always in terms that some people are accustomed to, like talking to an engineer or talking to just a crew chief. I think it'll give a chance to build a relationship that's more based off a driver feel at the same time as it is everything else it takes on the racing side.
Are there any kind of mementos that you keep on you, or any rituals that you do, or are there any meditations that you have before you actually climb in the race car?
No, I was maybe a little bit superstitious early in my career, but I've been racing long enough that I've had good things happen on days that I didn't think they should have, and I've had bad days when I thought everything was going to go perfect. So I'm really not that superstitious anymore. I just go out and do your best every day, and if the cards fall your way, you have a good finish.
So since your Cup debut in 2002, you've had several teammates. You've gone over from a couple different teams, but you come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it like having a brand new teammate like Kyle Larson here? Was there any kind of mentoring that you did for him?
Well, by the time you make it to the Cup level, you've won in everything you've been a part of. Kyle came from a sprint car background and had won tons of races. And I got to know Kyle a little bit prior to our season starting last year. For the most part, there was never any sit-downs and like, Kyle, this is what I think you should do. He already knew. I mean, he'd won in everything he'd been in up to this point. And if we went to a new racetrack, the road courses, I think he asked a lot of questions about. But for the most part, it was just like any other teammate, and you just go and you try to help each other.
So coming along as the new Cup driver as of 2014 last year, how did the team welcome you in?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, our guys are all easygoing, especially our road crew guys. A lot of them are my really good friends, and we have fun at the track and away from the track, and then everybody at Target and here in the shop treats me very well. So they welcome me with very open arms, and it's been great.
You've gotten Rookie of the Year in 3 different series. Which one was the hardest one to get Rookie of the Year to achieve that award?
Cup was tough, and the most satisfying too, because everybody picked Austin Dillon to win, and I almost thought the same thing to start the year, but I knew we'd be good. I knew it'd be a close, or I thought it would be a close battle, but you know, halfway through the season, we'd kind of spaced ourselves apart from Austin, and you know, like I said, it just was really satisfying since I had a lot of doubters.
I'm honored to be in a business that I enjoy. You know, I feel like I get out of bed in the morning, and on one hand, I've never worked a day in this business. You know, I mean, it's my passion. It's you know, it's my country club. It's my girlfriend. It's my cigarettes. It's my alcohol. It's all that sort of bundled up into one. You know, I feel really fortunate to be able to do this for a business. So that's my favorite part about it, I guess.
Nice. Well, coming from a driver myself, that's a great vice to have.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone here at Chip Ganassi Racing for making all of this possible. Look out for them in the upcoming 2015 season. I'm Danny Bopp, and thanks for watching.